I'd like to call the meeting to order. Mrs. Burns, roll call, please.
Mr. Sullivan?
Here.
Mr. Feather?
Here.
Mr. Allen? Present. Mrs. Bowman? Here. Ms. Boyle? Here. Mrs. Hallenbach? Present. Mr. Kovitz? Absent. Mr. Marrington?
Here.
Mr. Parentano?
Present.
Quorum is present.
Thank you. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. The board met in executive session this evening prior to this meeting to discuss matters of employment, issues related to labor relations, and matters related to potential litigation. The district mission statement: the Neshaminy community builds futures by empowering each child to become a productive citizen and a lifelong learner. Mrs. Burns, any announcements?
No announcements.
Mr. Tarenti?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Sullivan. I do have a statement regarding the Pennsylvania Human Relations Commission versus Neshaminy School District matter. As you may know, there is currently ongoing litigation in which the Pennsylvania Human Relations Commission is suing the Neshaminy School District. In the interest of keeping the community informed of issues that affect the district, we are providing information regarding this litigation. The PHRC contends that the district's Redskins team name and related Native American imagery discriminates against Native American students and creates a hostile environment in the district schools. The PHRC's lawsuit has its roots in a separate claim of discrimination filed with the Commission in 2013 by a community member on behalf of her child, who was then a Neshaminy student. That claim asserted that the child was Native American and was suffering educational and other harm due to the Redskins team name and related imagery. In October of 2015, the claim on behalf of the student was voluntarily dismissed. Very shortly thereafter, in 2015, the PHRC initiated the presently pending litigation. The PHRC filed a complaint regarding the district's Redskins team name in which the PHRC serves as a complainant. The Pennsylvania Human Relations Act permits the PHRC to act as both the complaining party plaintiff as well as a hearing officer and/or finder of fact in this case. In its lawsuit, the PHRC contends that the district, in having a Redskins team name and related Native American imagery, discriminates against Native American students and creates a hostile educational environment. The PHRC further contends that non-Native American students are harmed as well due to a negative learning environment and being imparted with a negative view of Native American people and their culture. The district denies the allegations in PHRC's lawsuit and through its counsel is defending the case, as it did in the 2013 case. The district contends that the PHRC's allegations are unfounded. At present, a public hearing in the case is scheduled to occur between January 7th through the 11th of 2019. The PHRC has not yet determined the location of that public hearing, but it will occur in Bucks County. Since the hearing is public, members of the public are entitled to attend. We will announce the exact date and location of the public hearing when it is set. Finally, because the litigation is ongoing, the board cannot discuss it beyond the general information provided in this statement. That's all I have, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Tarenti. That brings us to Superintendent's report. Mr. Jones?
Good evening, everyone. I want to just restate what was said at our work session in terms of the Facilities and Planning Committee meeting that's happening tomorrow. It's a relatively new committee for the board. They will meet tomorrow, Wednesday, September 26th at 6:30 p.m. The meeting is actually going to be held at Hoover Elementary School. The Facilities and Planning Committee will be meeting 5 times throughout the school year, and the meetings will have site rotations throughout the various schools in the district. This year, 5 sites, next year, the other 5 schools. So that's a new effort on our part, and so tomorrow at Hoover will be the first of those meetings. just a safety reminder. We've up and started with our schools, and our kids are on the street. They're walking to and from school. They're at bus stops. We're reminding local drivers to please be careful and mindful of the fact that our kids are out there, especially as the daylight becomes shorter and shorter in the fall season here. Congratulations to our high school band. They took first place in their division at Cavalcade of Bands that was held at Upper Dublin High School back on September 15th. That's an early first place victory in this year's season of band competitions, and so congratulations to the director, Mike Lipton, and all the students who are participants in the band program. And then congratulations to our Honor Society for hosting a successful college fair last night. Lots of college opportunities available for our students, and many of our students in here at the Neshaminy High School Gymnasium, able to meet with those people and find out more about college opportunities right without leaving their neighborhood. So that was good, and a nice effort on the part of the Honor Society. I'd like to extend the board's thanks to Kevin Yengst. He is a member of the authority for the Bucks County Technical High School currently for Neshaminy. We have 3 members of our community who serve as liaison positions to the authority of the tech school, and we actually have to change from 3 to 2. And Mr. Yengst's term is coming to an end, and he's going to step down. He's volunteered to step down. We have 2 other members, Michael Binder, who serves as the chairperson of the authority, and Ron Rudy. They were just recently appointed to new 5-year terms, and I congratulate and thank Mr. Yengst for his service. He served 15 years in that capacity for this district, and so we really appreciate the work that he's done on behalf of Neshaminy, and most specifically on behalf of the students who benefit from the tech school. Our budget assumptions were a topic of last week's Business Operations Committee meeting, and the budget assumptions are an important document because they drive the development of the budget for this upcoming effort to get ready for the, believe it or not, we're getting ready for the 1920 school year already. The budget assumptions are attached to this week's superintendent's report, and they're available. It's in the form that the Business Operations Committee has stamped and endorsed as the guidelines for our existing budget work, and then they'll be revisited as we come back with more specific information to the board in the December-January timeframe, all the way through to June as we work towards budget resolution. And then finally, I would like to welcome and point out that we have finalists with us this evening and on the agenda for elementary principal positions. Stephanie Washam is the candidate finalist for principal at the Joseph Fertibar Elementary School. Ms. Washam is a humanities supervisor, K-5, and federal programs K-12 for a Bucks County school district nearby. She offers a wealth of experience as an administrator, a literacy specialist, and an instructional coach, and a teacher, both in Pennsylvania and in New Jersey. And then Don Palmer is our finalist for the principal at Towonka Elementary School, where he currently serves as acting principal. He has a long history here in the district, both as a classroom teacher and a leader as an administrator as well. And so we welcome both of them this evening, and the board will be taking some action on resolutions for those appointments in just a little bit. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. That brings us to our first public comment period. Mrs. Burns?
Susan Brown's.
Please give us your name, where you reside, and your occupation.
Okay, my name is Susan Browns.
Hit the button.
Okay, I'm new at this. My name is Susan Browns, and I live in Middletown, Pennsylvania, and I have owned my own hair salon for 22 years. My name is Susan Browns. I am a 1986 Neshaminy High School graduate. I bought my house in Middletown, Pennsylvania, so my children would have the same school experience I did. However, my daughter will never return to Neshaminy. My daughter was bullied, not just by another student, but by the parents also. We struggled to get her to go to school. Her grades were slipping. It was affecting her all over health. As horrendous as that was for my daughter, how the school handled it was far worse. They seemed not to care. The counselor never met with my daughter, even after several emails and a personal phone call for myself. The principal acted like she was not aware. The disciplinarian was not brought in. The assistant principal took over, and he was more concerned about protecting the bully. He implied that my daughter did something to bring the bullying on. In fact, he asked her to apologize and to hug the bully. After numerous phone calls and emails, we put in writing that our daughter was not to be alone with the assistant principal, without my husband or I present. But he did. In fact, the very next day, he waited for my daughter to enter school, called her into his office. Behind closed doors, he told her not to tell her parents about these meetings, that her father has anger issues, not to listen to him, that he, the administrator, was the boss. She was to listen to him only. There is more. I haven't even mentioned his religious talks. But the most horrifying, he told her aspects of his honeymoon. My daughter was 10 years old. She was broken and vulnerable from being bullied, and this man used his position of power over her. There was no investigation. In fact, Neshaminy has refused to meet with us. When this started in April of 2017, when we contacted the superintendent of August 2017, when we retained an attorney in September of 2017, and yet of September 2018. Do they not think this is something worth talking about? Are they not concerned? We want answers. We want to know why this was brushed under the rug. We want to know why we had to move our daughter to a private school, because Neshaminy administration did absolutely nothing to assure us that our daughter's best interest in protecting her from a parent's worst nightmare. Another school year has begun. We want all children to be protected and all parents to feel confident that their children are in a safe environment. My question is, why doesn't Neshaminy want the same? This is a shortened version that I plan to send to the media. You've had enough time, and I know for a fact that more children are suffering. Thank you.
Okay. No one else wants to approach the podium? Okay. There will be a second public comment period a little later in the meeting. That brings us to routine matters. I'd like to make a motion to approve item number 2.01, the minutes, 2.02, treasurer's report, 2.03, check register and procurement card purchases, 2.04, investments, and 2.05, exonerations. Can I get a second? Second by Mrs. Hollenbeck. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 9-0. 8-0, that's right.
You were close.
He's mental telepathy. He did vote for it, yeah. So that brings us to personnel administrative. Mr. Piratano?
Thank you, Mr. Sullivan. Resolved that the Neshaminy School Board of School Directors hereby approves the following appointments of administrative staff. Donald Palmer, replacing Robin Kleiber at Tawanka Elementary School, and Stephanie Washman, replacing Judy Brown at Ferdabar Elementary School.
Can I get a second? Second by Mr. Allen. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 8-0.
Why don't Stephanie and Don stand up so you can be recognized, please?
Brings us to item number 4, personnel certificated. We're going to pull out 4.02 tenure awards. So I'd like to make a motion to pass item 4.01, retirements, resignations, end of assignments, 4.03, leaves of absence, 4.04, revised leaves of absence, 4.05, revised returns in absence, from absence, 4.06, appointments, 4.07, co-curricular appointments, 4.08, ancillary appointment resignations, 4.09, ancillary appointments. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Feather.
Why'd you pull that?
I'll tell you that. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 8-0. Which you requested after that. Okay. I'd like to make a motion on item 4.02, tenure awards. Resolved that the Neshaminy Board of Directors hereby approves the following tenure status of certified staff. Elizabeth Folger, music, Miller Maple Point Middle School. Can I get a second? Second by Mr. Puritano. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Opposed.
All right. Motion passes 7-0. Don't need a roll call, do you? 7-1.
We don't need the roll.
You, Matt. Here. I'm working on it. Okay. Brings us to item number 5, personnel support. Mrs. Hollenbeck.
Thank you, Mr. Sullivan. I'd like to make a motion to approve 5.01 retirements, resignations, end of assignments, 5.02 leaves of absence, 5.03 revised returns from leave, 5.04 appointments, 5.05 co-curricular resignations, 5.06 co-curricular appointments, and 5.07 ancillary appointments.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Boyle. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes 8-0. Okay. Educational development, Mrs. Boyle.
I'd like to make a motion to approve items 6.01, which is overnight trips, and 6.02, which is robotics team board resolution.
Can I get a second? Second by Mr. Allen. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes 8-0. Business operations, Mrs. Hollenbeck.
I'd like to make a motion to approve item 7.01 PSBA elections.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Feather. Any comments or questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes 8-0.
On the printed copy, we missed 410, but it's available publicly on board docs. Ancillary appointments, it was 410, right?
4.10. All right, it's not on the printed copy.
So,
All right.
It's not on the printed copy, but it is available on our public board docs, and it looks like it's just one individual here. So if you want to make that motion.
Let's make a
go back.
motion. Yeah, there was a motion that wasn't on the printed documents, but it's on board docs. I'd like to make a motion. It's 4.01. 4.10. Resolved that the Neshaminy Board of School Directors hereby approves the following ancillary appointment for certified staff. Charles Lumio, Maple Point Middle School, Department Chair, Science. Can I get a second? Second by Mr. Puritano. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes 8-0. Okay. Other board business. Okay. To the second public comment period, please approach the podium, identify yourself, where you reside, and your occupation.
Lois Kuntz, Langhorne, Neshaminy Food Service employee. I just want to bring some points to the whole board and to the public. What's going on in the food service department. First, lack of food at the beginning of the school year in the high school cafeteria. All that was left for us to serve to make hoagies with was ham and cheese. There were no drinks, pizza dough arrived late, and no marinara sauce for pasta. Management does not properly train the personnel. So we have what few we have that come in new or as subs have no way of being trained properly. No communication. Lack of staff. I worked last year, short staff. This year, it's worse. A lot worse. I know our objective is to feed our students. Everything is to benefit our students. We make orders, our lunches, to order. make special sandwiches, make special pasta. Well, this is taking far too long. The students are leaving, butting into lines, which causes fights, or students waiting until our lines are closed so that the staff can replenish, clean, or prep and get ready for the next lunch. They're banging on our doors to be fed. The high school has to alternate between a pasta line and a taco line because of the lack of staff. Snack bar has only been open a few times for the same reason, the lack of staff. Staff is required to do more work, and the district refuses to give them the time to do the work, resulting in the staff to make a choice. Get reprimands in their employee files for working past their time, or leave on time and leave areas uncleaned and other work incomplete. Most of us choose to work a little over or as much as we can over our hours because we do not want or wish to invite any pests into our kitchen. There is no communication. Half the time I don't know who I have, if I have a sub, and any changes they feel that they wish to do. It's kind of like opening a car dealership without the cars and the staff to sell it. New equipment breaks down more than our old equipment. Grab and go, which is one of the new items, is literally a grab and go. Once we had okay, I guess my time's up. Yes. I could spend the whole day here.
Anyone else?
Good morning, board members. My name is Sergeant Winther with the United States Marine Corps. I'm actively a recruiter up in this area. Back in the day, I graduated from Neshaminy High School back in 2010. The reason that brings me up here is just being able to talk to students and give them the opportunity to look into what the military offers them, such as benefits, college benefits, a steady lifestyle, and pay. A little bit about my background is I was deployed to Afghanistan. My vehicle was struck by a suicide bomber. I was able to gain consciousness and pulled 2 guys out of the truck. For that, Neshaminy High School awarded me a certification for my actions that day. I know that this town is very military friendly, very proactive with that. My job as a recruiter is to be able to reach the kids that don't have that direction, that don't have the money to pay for college, that don't have that drive to not know where they want to go. What I want to do is be able to provide them the option to look into what the military has to offer. And with that, lately, I know the last year or so, we haven't been able to actively talk in classrooms, kind of the same that colleges are able to do. What I'm proposing is that we are able to talk to these students on a one-on-one basis, kind of make sure that they get the information. If they don't want to be contacted with the military, I understand that too, and I understand where the parents come from as well. But I want to be able to reach the kids that don't know what we have to offer, the lifestyle that we can offer. Right now, I've been married for the last 5 years. I own a house. I'm expecting a baby on the way, so I know where their footsteps come. I walk the same halls as those students there, and I want to be able to provide the same opportunity that the recruiter at the school at that time was able to provide me. Thank you. I appreciate you guys taking this into consideration, and God bless.
Sergeant, before you get away, I just want to make a couple comments. I'm relatively new compared to your time here in the town.
Yes.
But certainly in the short time that I've been here, there has been a lot of active presence of the military recruiters and a lot of connection to our students. So what you're saying is a little bit different than what I understood to be the case, but I know that we believe and we want to be connected in a way that we can continue to promote and make that an available option for our graduates. And as you know, we do a really nice program here at the high school at year's end, where we make sure that they get that recognition just as much as a student who's going off to a college experience gets his or her. But I appreciate you coming forward and at least just making known that you're feeling that there may be a little bit of difficulty for you making that connection. And before you leave that podium, I want to thank you because I was told in advance that you might be coming up here, and I was given a heads up, and you didn't. You pointed to a certificate that we gave you, but it's my understanding you're also a Purple Heart and Bronze Star awardee as well, and I want to thank you for your service. Thank you so much.
Anyone else? Brings us to the board comment period. Anyone have any comments? Steve?
I didn't even have to say anything. Thank you, Mr. Sullivan. Once again, I want to jump on Joe's comments. I happen to know Sergeant Winther and his family. They're great people. His younger brother is also a enlisted personnel serving his country, and we were able to recognize Mr. Winther for when he was awarded his Bronze Star a couple of years ago, and it was he was still not able to attend here, but we were able to hook up. I think Chris hooked us up through a remote, live stream. Chris hooked us up through a live stream, so it was really, really great. Thank you for your service. Mr. Yanks for his service to district for 15 years. Kevin's been involved in all types of things here at the district, from the band to the sports to local organizations. He's really one of those people that go above and beyond when it comes to volunteering and helping out his community. And I want to let him know that we appreciate the years of service that he spent. On tonight's NESPA report, we had one bus driver with 17 years retiring from the district, and a building IT tech with 19 years from the district. I just want you to know we appreciate your service to Neshaminy and wish you well in your retirement. The one woman earlier spoke about the issues they had with their child being bullied in the school. I can assure you and the public that this board is very concerned about anybody that has a complaint of that nature, and as I'm sure many other board members will be following up on that complaint. One bit of legislative news, which I think is welcome to here in Neshaminy and all across the Commonwealth, is it appears the legislature has finally figured out a way to have flexibility in the graduation requirement. Senate Bill 1095 was passed out of committee. It went on to the House where it was amended. Now it has to go to the full House, but they still believe that they're going to get it ratified in time and sent up to the governor for a signature, so it would take effect this year. And if I could ask Mr. Jones just for a few comments on how this bill affects the graduating students.
Pennsylvania has been moving the Keystone requirement for graduation further down the line on a year-by-year basis. This actually would extend again that deadline. It would extend that deadline then to the graduating class of 21-22, 2021-22. These numbers sound a little crazy right now, don't they? But in addition to that, it's also going to provide alternate pathways so that it's not just the single test that can be the exit exam for the student, but there'll be other options available. And it also takes into account students who have individual education plans and allows for opportunities for them to demonstrate through that IEP their necessary mastery prior to graduation. So there's a lot of good options available. It's a bill that's supported by all the education organizations in the state, and it seems to be something that has the support of both the House and the Senate. And even though there's a lot of work to still get done, they believe that it can happen before this session, this legislative session ends.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. That's all I have, Mr. Sullivan.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I just have a couple quick comments. I wanted to again thank Mr. Yanks for his 15 years representing the Neshaminy community on the Tech Board Authority. 15 years, that's a long time. Again, they're kind of unsung what they do. We do a lot on the actual tech board, but the authority serves, they actually control the money. So he's represented us well 15 years. So I want to thank him for his time and his service for the community. I want to thank our new principals for coming aboard. Looking forward to working with you, and a little excited to see what how their schools go for you, how that job goes. Also wanted to tag on the bullying issue and be sure that everyone understands that we as a board take it very seriously. Anyone feels they have issues within the school and they feel that they're not being met by administration, the board does hear we do hear you, and we do take those comments serious. And this will be looked into. And our recruiter, thank you very much for your service. And also, I believe Joe said, we'll see to it. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Allen. For closing, I would like to congratulate Mr. Palmer on his appointment and welcome and congratulate Ms. Washam on her appointment. Looking forward to working with both of you. That being said, I make a motion to adjourn. Second by Mrs. Hollenbeck. All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned.